ICE agents arresting an illegal immigrant accused of threatening to assassinate President Trump. Officials say he passed a note to ICE agents that said the following: "We are tired of this president messing with us Mexicans. We have done more for this country than you white people. You've been deporting my family, and I think it is time Donald J. Trump get what he has coming to him." End quote.
Say it with your chest.
Welcome to the Chesley Major channel, Chesley Major Media. I'm your host, Chesley Major, and we about to get into it in a major way. Let's go. What's going on, fam? Big round of applause to you. Welcome to Chesley Major Media. Today, we're going to be discussing illegal migrant crimes. Yes. Like this one right here. Ramon Reyes, in the country illegally. Done been in the country so many times, back and forth. This guy just refused to stay in the country that he was born in. We gonna get into this. I'm not gonna hold you, all right? But do me a favor, one big solid. Smash up the likes before we get started. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Let's go.
Tom Homan, border czar from the White House. Tom, good morning to you, and thanks for coming back. So he's got a rap sheet. It's pretty long. He's 54 years old. He's entered the U.S. illegally at least 9 times.
That's right, 9 times. This cat been in the country 9 times. Back and forth, doing what he want to do. On the lam, illegally, collecting checks, working in this country, and got a nerve to talk crap. But let's get back into it.
Charged with a felony hit and run, criminal damage of property, disorderly conduct with a, quote, domestic abuse modifier. All right, so he was picked up in Wisconsin. What's the status of this case, Tom?
Well, he's being detained. He'll be removed. I mean, he's exactly the priority that President Trump has all his focusing on: public safety threats and significant criminal history. And foolish on him to make a threat against the president. It's just going to add another criminal charge. I mean, Secret Service is investigating that allegation. He'd probably end up with another charge on top of the others. And we'll detain him, and as soon as he gets out, he'll be deported. ICE has made it clear public safety threats are their priority. And bad decision on his part to make a threat against the president. That's just going to add another felony charge.
Once he's deported, does the United States try to keep tabs on somebody like this? Because he's come across 9 times in the past. I don't necessarily think that he would be able to make it across the border now that it's more secure. But if somebody has made a threat to the president, do you continue to track them even after they leave the country?
Y'all hear them lawnmowers and weed blowers going? They like, screw this guy. Whoever's cutting that lawn, they need to be fired. Because they really don't like Tom Homan. But let's get back into it.
ICE doesn't, but the Secret Service does, yes. And you're right, he's going to have a hard time coming back. You look at immigration crossing down the border, on the southern border, down 96%. Every single border patrol agent is on the line now defending that border, along with DOD on the border by the thousands. So he's going to have a hell of a time coming back. But if he does, that's a felony reentry charge. We'll quickly detain him and charge him with a felony reentry after deportation. He'll serve some more prison time. He's not going to win this.
Kristi Noem put out a statement. The thread comes out even a year after President Trump was shot in Butler, PA, and less than 2 weeks after the former FBI Director James Comey called for the president's assassination. All politicians and members of the media should take notice of these repeated attempts in President Trump's life and tone down the rhetoric. I'm sure that's on your radar. Also on your radar is the story of this cadet candidate for the Air Force, a young lady who was killed on a jet ski.
Now, this was really bad. Illegal migrants in this country, and she's just dogging the jet ski out on the lake, and she's just riding willy-nilly, speeding, and took the life of this young lady, Ava Moore. Instead of trying to find out her status and get her paperwork right, she on the lake out in Texas doing whatever she want to do, speeding at a high rate, as if ICE not already looking for her. She been in the country for about 2 years now, illegally. Make it make sense. You can't, because it don't.
Just break down the very latest, some of those details that are just now coming out.
Well, just within the past hour, we obtained an arrest warrant affidavit for 2 suspects. And the person who was driving that jet ski apparently was operating it at a very high rate of speed around swimmers and kayakers. And we've learned that Ava Moore, who was on her kayak, was actually trying to get away from that jet ski just because it appears it was being reckless on the lake. Then she was struck from behind. The operator of that jet ski actually got away, but not before a photo was taken of her and shared with law enforcement, who have just blasted it across social media here in North Texas.
The police came and they went to that house right there.
Oak Cliff neighbors rattled Tuesday morning as law enforcement surrounded a home off Atlas Drive. 2 people, reportedly on the run from a deadly lake crash, surrender.
I mean, everything that our officers and all of the agencies have been doing is for Ava Moore.
18-year-old Ava Moore, a recent U.S. Air Force Academy preparatory school graduate, was killed after being struck by a jet ski while kayaking on Grapevine Lake Sunday.
And then I heard someone in the crowd say she hit someone. And so I automatically turned around to go back toward the water because I was concerned.
Lisa Scrayback, there as a group pulled Moore from the lake.
You know, we just started life-saving measures, checking her pulse at that time.
But Moore passed away, and the woman on the jet ski fled.
I turned around to look at the water and I could see her and the passenger on the jet ski going away from the incident, and they were waving toward like their people, and you could tell they were trying to get away.
Someone shared this photo of the suspect with Texas game wardens, who released it to the public. It's shared thousands of times across social media. Tuesday morning, authorities identified her as Carolyn Alejandro Gonzalez. Attorney General Ken Paxton says she was in the country illegally, and we saw immigration officials on scene early Tuesday. Gonzalez was located inside this Oak Cliff home. A woman renting here, who does not want to show her face, says several rooms inside are rented. She claims she first saw Gonzalez Monday night with a man who lives there.
It seemed like her photo was so clear that she would just be caught very soon.
Gonzalez, now in custody for the death of Moore, according to game wardens. On top of that, Grapevine police say Mikel Coelho Perozzo, also a reported illegal immigrant from Venezuela, will face additional charges for a vehicle crash while driving away from the lake with Gonzalez.
Where they crashed into 2 different vehicles and got out of the car and ran away.
Now, this was a savage crime. Rest in peace to Ava Moore. She was unalived by this woman just speeding on a jet ski, clowning on the lake. And on their way out, trying to escape, her and her old man, he crashed up 2 cars, wrecked them out. But they got the footage and they got him on camera. But check this out.
The immigration crackdown and a big bust made by the Department of Homeland Security Tampa. More than 100 illegal immigrants who reportedly had returned to the United States after being deported, and others with criminal backgrounds, were taken into custody at a construction site in Tallahassee. They come from countries like Mexico, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and Colombia.
So as you can see, after being deported, a lot of these people, they come back over and hop the fence again. No regards for the law. They don't give a damn about the law. But there's more. Check
Major
this.
controversy among truckers after an executive order is requiring them to pass English literacy tests.
The order puts specific focus on road safety.
A federal law requiring English proficiency for commercial drivers already existed, but according to President Trump, it had not been enforced in years, and he claims that made the roads less safe. Russell Rocha has been a truck driver for 17 years.
We need to open the door to opportunity for everybody.
While he says there is a need for drivers, Rocha sees the logic behind the executive order signed by President Donald Trump on Monday.
If you can't read or understand a certain sign that's a little dangerous, it could affect all of us.
The new order requires truckers to demonstrate proficiency using the English language before getting behind the wheel. According to the executive order, proficiency means drivers can read and understand traffic signs and communicate with traffic safety, border patrol, and agricultural checkpoints, as well as others. It's an awful law, Yoman Rivera told me.
Of course it's an awful law for him. That's so selfish. Imagine me going to their country, not speaking a lick of English, trying to drive trucks. How would that work? What does that look like? No speak Espanol, but I'm driving on the road?
In my 15 years as truck driver, I never had an issue with English. Rivera claims he recognized the signs and communicated with officers with his limited English. First off, But according to Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, there are documented cases where drivers' inability to read signs and speak the language may have contributed to a series of fatal accidents.
Look, I'm sure there are fatal accidents that happen all the time because people can't speak English and read the signs. You can go right down to 79th Street to the CDL office, and if you got the right paper, $5,000 that is, they'll give you a CDL without even taking the test. And this has been going on for many, many years in Miami. Allegedly.
We have to watch out for lives. I mean, that's most important, right?
It depends on how many people are affected and how many people decide to exit the industry because of this.
Rivera says he's already seen many truck drivers putting their trucks on sale. He also says the consumer is the one who will suffer. Rocha agrees.
It would affect the consumer by not picking up on time, by not delivering on time, or in between transit from shipping to receiving.
So U.S. Secretary of Transportation will begin taking action to see who is not complying with the requirements 60 days from yesterday. Drivers who are found not in compliance could be taken out of service.
So which is it? Are we trying to save money or are we trying to save lives? I think we should be trying to save lives. If you can't speak English, you shouldn't be on the road. And once again, I want to send my condolences to the Moore family. Rest in peace to Ava Moore, unalived by illegal migrants who had no business in this country in the first place, just doing whatever they want to do as if there is no law. Lawlessness at its peak, coming from people who come from lawless countries. As far as this guy goes, Ramon Reyes, dude, you've been put out this country 9 times. America's like a drug. They can't get off of it. They gotta have it. Gotta be here. Anyways, guys, leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this video. I am Chesley Major.